10-4 Chicago Bears. Maybe for now, Chicago, but the Chicago Bears. Who knows where they may
They're
end up
not
here.
going anywhere, Evan.
I know
They're
that.
not going to Indiana. Stop it. Stop it, Chicago Bears.
So, let's play this out. There's two parts of this right now. Packers won the first time. Who needs to win this one more? The Bears or the Packers? Right now, in the moment, situational, obviously with the records what they are. Who needs this one more right now?
Well, I would say the Chicago Bears based on the remaining schedule, right? Because there's a scenario where Chicago doesn't make the playoffs. If they lose out, which is entirely on the board, then they could be out. And that would be a shame because you're talking about them having a double-digit win season and having an opportunity to win the division for the first time since 2018. So you would want to maintain all of the good feels, but it's not going to be an easy row to hoe for the Chicago Bears if they want to hold on to their division lead.
Okay, wait a minute. You just made an enormously bold statement.
It's not a bold statement. It's just a fact.
That a 10-4 division leader with 3 games left in the season may not make the playoffs. You don't think that's a bold statement? The 3 games, home against the Packers tomorrow night, at the Niners, home against the Lions. So obviously 3 potential playoff teams there. Not an easy schedule. But you think, so right now, if you had to make a bet on this, the Bears are going to be in or out of the postseason?
I'm going to say in because I believe in Ben Johnson as the head coach, and I love how this team plays. They have a really good offensive line. They have a really good running game, and they have an opportunistic defense. And the thing that I love the most about this team is that the defense is number 1 in the league in takeaways, but the offense capitalizes on those takeaways. When it comes to points off of turnovers margins, there's nobody better in the NFL. So that's what I love about it, the complementary nature of the Chicago Bears. And what Ben Johnson has been able to do with Caleb Williams is raise the floor for his quarterback. We already know that Caleb Williams can make all of the special plays. The touchdown throw that he had to DJ Moore in the back of the end zone against the Cleveland Browns, there's less than a handful of people on planet Earth that can make that play. But the issue that we had with Caleb Williams in his rookie year were the negative plays, the sacks, the turnovers that you're just like, what are you doing? Get out of bounds. Ben Johnson has eliminated that for the most part. And so I'm excited about this Bears team because you're getting all upside with the quarterback. And then, oh, by the way, he's anchored by a really good running game and a defense that steals extra possessions and creates good field position for the offense.
So let's play out your possibility, but not necessarily the probability of them losing all 3.
All right.
If I would have said to you before the season, the Chicago Bears will finish the year 10-7, what would your reaction have been? Before the season.
I mean, you doubled your win total from year 1 of Caleb Williams, so I would say it's a wildly successful season. But we have since moved the goalpost, no?
Right, no, that's what I'm getting at. So now, if they finish the season 10-7, what would you tell me?
It would feel like a disappointment. It would.
In a way, isn't what you just did a massive compliment to the Chicago Bears because you have now raised the floor and the ceiling to a team that has expectations of borderline greatness on a year-by-year level?
Yeah, listen, I agree with that, Ev. You're making a great point. No, I'm just saying. I think it's a compliment. Yes. I never thought about it in that way, but I think you're absolutely right. It's a compliment to what Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and that Bears team has been able to build. It's a lot of respect that we're giving them because now we have expectations for them. I think coming into
let's say it this way. See, sorry to interrupt, but CC, let's say it this way because this is your point. Chicago Bears fans, ESPN 1000, Cap J and J Hood, 10-7 is no longer good enough for the Chicago Bears. Think about that. Think about the compliment that CC is paying your franchise. 10-7 is no longer good enough for the Chicago Bears. You have now graduated past 10-7 being cool, great. We made the playoffs, or we have double-digit wins. 10-7 is not good enough for the Chicago Bears anymore.
No, I don't think it should be good enough for the organization, and I for damn sure know it's not good enough for the fans. My wife is born and bred Chicago, and she ready to do the remix to the Super Bowl Shuffle. Like, she's ready for it. She can't wait for Saturday night because she believes that her Bears team is going to get their lick back. And I got to say this, if you don't beat the Green Bay Packers after such a deflating loss that they had in Denver where they lose Micah Parsons and Evan Williams, their safety gets banged up.
Same play.
Yeah, same play. Christian Watson gets banged up. I don't know what to say. If you're going up against a diminished Packers team in your building 2 weeks after they bested you and you lost the game seemingly on the last play, yeah, I don't know. It would color the season a little bit differently for me. And then after that game against the Green Bay Packers, you've got a date with the San Francisco 49ers at the Bay, and then you've got the Detroit Lions. Could you imagine if the Chicago Bears collapse down the stretch and the team that takes their place is the Detroit Lions because they went out, including beating you in Week 18? How disappointing would it be for Bears fans?
Right. So once again, 10-7 is no longer good enough for the Chicago Bears.
They got to make the playoffs. I don't care what the record is at the end of it. They got to make the playoffs.
Right, because 10-7, your assumption in this year's NFC, 10-7 is not going to be good enough because by you going 10-7, which means losing the last three, you're handing wins to Green Bay, Detroit, and San Francisco, who are all in competition with you in that scenario. So
Correct.
That's why it's not just like, oh, you gave you gave the Browns and Titans a couple of wins who have no bearing on that. So that's the other important part. Can we just play it the opposite way? Let's say, to use your terminology, the Bears do get their lick back. They win this game. They didn't win the first game against Green Bay. Obviously, Micah was playing in that game, not in this game. The Bears go to 11-4, but the Packers at that point are 9-5-1. Same question. Are the Packers in jeopardy of actually not making the playoffs? They have the Ravens after this, a team still competing, and then the Vikings, who are not good this year, but still, final game of the season, they're already eliminated. What would make a Viking fan and player happier than to eliminate the Packers in the final game? Is missing the playoffs for the Green Bay Packers on the table if they lose this game?
I mean, I just can't see the Packers losing to the Vikings. Can you?
No, but I just wonder. I think we have to be fair because if we're going to play out the idea
of they destroyed Minnesota earlier in the year,
totally. And I think both these teams are going to be in the playoffs. I do. But if we're going to play out the hypothetical of the Bears losing out, the Bears are playing better teams, but the Bears also have a better record than the Packers. So
Correct.
If the Packers lose, that's 2 in a row. The Micah thing then becomes real in terms of the questions being asked. Like how do you feel about playing without Micah? Christian Watson, if he's not 100%.
But here's why I don't think the Green Bay Packers miss out on the playoffs. Here's why I think they're in a different situation because I don't see the Packers losing out. I just don't. So if the Packers get to 10 wins, the worst they can be is 10-6-1. And then, by the way, their closest competition is the Detroit Lions, who they beat not once but twice. So I don't know that it's the same thing, right? Because they've got the tiebreaker with Detroit. So I don't know. I think if we're talking about a team in the NFC North that we would expect to be in the playoffs missing out, the most likely candidate would be the Chicago Bears, not the Packers.
That's a wild scenario here. It's a wild scenario that we're looking at. It's wild to even ask the question, could the Packers miss the playoffs? And it's wild to ask the question, is 10-7 good enough for the Chicago Bears? Like it's a crazy turn of events. And I'll continue to say about the Packers, while the Micah injury is obviously massive, you're talking about a guy that may be the second best or best defensive player in the NFL. You built this team with a $50+ million quarterback to win it all, led by that guy before Micah was ever a thought. So that concept should not change based on the Micah injury. You gave love